Never let them bring you down, cause then you be on a level. Listen, I'm never giving up. Stand your ground, don't be too comfortable or too settled. Listen, I'm never giving up. When you hit rock bottom, it's only one way to go. Listen, I'm never giving up. Everybody got problems, how you handle them, no. Yeah, listen.
Hey, I'm John.
And I'm Jonathan.
Welcome to the Formula.
So today we have a very interesting topic, and we're going to be talking about the situation, I want to say, that everyone is talking about right now, right? We have pop culture talking about it. We have the internet talking about it. We have celebrities talking about it. And it does have some implications with a celebrity's child. So, very interesting conversation, and we're going to have about Zaya.
Zaya.
You know what? I don't know which way you pronounce it, Zaya or Zaya, but if we're pronouncing it wrong, we be no disrespect.
Oh, welcome to the podcast, by the way, Nikki.
Hey. I know I'm always here, but I'm not always on the mic.
So yeah,
I felt like y'all needed a little female perspective.
Absolutely, we definitely need female perspective on this one, because Dwayne Wade, I really do like that Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union actually does support their child in feeling the way he feels. His sexuality and such. I definitely appreciate those guys.
For those who don't know what we're talking about Dwayne Wade's son, formerly Zion.
See, that's why we need a woman on this podcast.
as transgendered and wanted to be referred to in a female pronoun, her, and changing her name from Zion to Zaya or Zaya, whichever way it's.
I think it's Zaya.
You think so?
But I don't know.
It's an
I think
A,
you just
man.
like that name.
Yeah.
It's an A though.
Yeah.
It's a Z-A-Y-A. I'm thinking it's Zaya.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Well, I
but we're all talking about English here today. You're talking pronouns.
Right.
I agree with you. I 100% feel like it's important to. There are multiple ways I feel about the subject, but I feel most importantly that it's important that they are supporting their child's feelings about who they are. Mm-hmm. That's important, and a lot more people should take that kind of thing into account. I mean, you can be on a case by case basis, depending on what is going on. But you don't want to support your kid saying, "I feel like inside I'm a serial killer," but this is something different. This is about intrinsically, who they feel like they are. Whether people support it or not, if that's who you feel like you are, who is anybody to tell you that that's not who you are?
Mm-hmm. And from someone on the outside looking in, what's it to me? Like, I don't care how you identify yourself. Right. To be honest, I mean, that's not gonna get me all worked up or all upset or. It's how you. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel.
Right.
And if you, the main thing is not to mentally break them down to where because a lot of people have those suicidal thoughts, and that's why a lot of people don't really come forward with their sexuality or their sexual orientation. Or things of that nature. So it's really important mentally for your mental health. And if you have a kid who says, "Hey, I'm gay," or "I'm transgender," or whatever the case may be, I think it's like Jonathan said. I think it's very important that you support your kid.
Now, if you both have kids, if either of you had a child that felt this way, would you be supportive of them?
See, the thing is, I don't really understand that world.
You don't have to understand it. We're not
I
talking
don't.
about if you understand it.
I
That's
don't.
a separate question.
But
Would you support your child?
No.
if this is how
At
they
the end of the
felt?
day, I would support my child.
Right?
I would support my child.
What about you?
I'd have a lot of questions because I really don't know. I'm just ignorant.
You
to
would want to
that.
understand.
Yeah, I would want to understand
where they're coming
Yeah,
from, but you
right,
would be supportive.
right.
What about you, Jonathan?
Yeah, I have to support him.
And you
know,
don't have to. That's the thing about it. It's
You don't.
your
You
prerogative
really don't.
of if you do it, if you don't.
You're not
It is
obligated.
people's choice if they support it or not. I personally am all for supporting it.
It's your child,
Right.
right? So you have to support your child.
You should love your child.
Exactly.
You should.
Like, but
Not
there's a
everybody
difference.
does.
But there's
not
a difference,
everybody
though.
does.
There's a difference in supporting and like supporting it and like actually pushing it on, like that behavior. I think it's a difference between supporting it and like really pushing that agenda on or whatever you want to call it. It's tough.
Funny that
to talk
you
about
bring
this.
up the word
Yeah.
agenda,
Right,
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I just had a conversation with someone about this subject,
Mhm.
which is why I thought it was important to talk about it. And the other person felt like the Wades being in support of this, not them specifically, but that this kind of, I don't want to make it sound like it's a bad thing.
Right.
but like
That's tough to toe that line. though.
Right. People, they feel like this kind of feelings are being pushed onto children more in order. The other person felt like
Right.
there's a secret agenda
Yeah.
going on. I didn't agree because I was like, well, what does that have to do with?
Well, what's the agenda though? Like what?
They felt like the agenda was about the government normalizing pedophilia and making kids feel more responsible for their sexuality at a younger age. I understand where he's coming from, but I don't think that they go hand in hand.
That's deep, though.
Because
That's deep.
it is deep. It was interesting, and there are many countries where they are changing the age of consent.
Right.
I understand what he's saying. I just don't feel as though the two issues are particularly related in this instance. I think that people are understanding that mental health is more of an issue and understanding that people's comfortability with themselves is a part of what, and people being supportive of who people are is what will be helping, the suicide rate go down, because so many people that are gay, transgendered, bisexual, just a part of that community are not heard or supported, and the numbers when it comes to suicide are just a lot higher in that community because of people just not feeling supported. So I think that people are using their voice more in order to make sure that people of this community get supported, and heard more, and that people don't act like it's a dirty little secret. Sometimes you're going to see it on TV because that's a part of the real world, as opposed to feeling like because you see a commercial with a gay couple that is people trying to push an agenda and taking it that way, as opposed to taking it as this is a reflection of the real world. It's all different kinds of people that make up the world. So why should this one type of people be excluded?
I think there should be an effort to normalize it and not make it so
like
abstract
it's a taboo thing,
and
because
like it's a taboo thing.
right.
Yeah.
It takes
now, whether
all
or not
kinds to
it's
make up the world.
whether or not you're forcing people, you're not. I don't think you're trying to force
Right.
people to be okay with it.
But people take it as because there's a certain amount of censorship, and a certain, I guess, formula of what people
Pun intended.
of what people are accustomed to seeing or what people are accustomed to hearing. So when they see something that they feel is out of the norm, then they take it as like aggression. Like somebody is forming, like
Right.
if somebody is gay and they just being themselves,
Right.
then, you know, if somebody is in a committed relationship with, if it's a male in a committed relationship with another male and he kisses his husband, that doesn't mean that he's trying to make you gay or that he's trying to hit on you.
Right.
He's just being himself.
And the thing that kind of bothers me is that when they posted a picture online, and, you know, Dwayne Wade posted a picture of his kid, and people like came at them sideways. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, that's just
that what they did was very brave, because, you know, that is going to be a lot of backlash because people are going to have a lot of opinions, and you're a public figure and you're putting this information out publicly. And I understand also, because they're public figures, as a family, you don't want to, I'm sure that you don't want to have questions come in a negative way later, as if you were trying to hide this information. So their kid decided that this is the choice that they made. The only thing that I say is, when it comes to gender reassignment, I feel like that's a decision that should wait.
Absolutely.
Because there are a lot of different kinds of emotions that you go through, and you as a person, as a human being, feel differently at different stages in your life. And this is a tumultuous time for any kid. So I feel like having that surgery and making that kind of decision is a level of permanence that should not be made yet.
So, because his kid is 12 years old, that's pretty young to go through that kind of a transition. So, when you say wait, that's what you're making reference to.
Yes, I'm referring just to the age. You know, not that Zaya isn't sure of how she feels, but just there are a lot of things happening. There's a lot of changes that, you know, happen within your body. There's still a lot of growing to do physically and mentally, emotionally. And I think that, you know, support her decision to be who she is. But I think that any kind of surgery, I don't think anybody should have surgery, any kind of plastic surgery of any sort. I think it's wrong, you know, when parents give their kid a boob job for the 16th birthday, you know, a nose job for graduation, you know what I'm saying, a nose job for the straight A's. And I don't think any kind of surgery of that sort should be done at that age. There's parts of your brain that aren't even awake yet until later on in life. Guys are still growing sometimes in their 20s.
You still got to go through puberty.
You know, are still growing in their 20s.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I just, in that respect, I feel like, you know, and I think like what you said, if your child felt that way, then you would support them because you love them and they're your child and you want them, you know, to feel supported, but also that you will have a lot of questions. More people need to be less aggressive with their opinions. It's nothing wrong with having them, but a little less aggressive with their opinions without asking any questions and trying to find out.
Right. I don't know enough to really speak on it, so I'm not going to speak on it. You know what I mean? But if my child comes to me and says, this is how I feel, I'll say, okay, well, how does this work? What's the process? Is there a process? And, you know, can we wait if surgery is necessary? Am I paying for that? Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm paying for that. Like, this is your decision, and this is what you want to do. You might want to wait. You know what I mean? You might want to wait till, you know, till you're old enough to actually do it.
Yeah.
But like, emotionally is my major concern. You know, the physicality of it, that's really not.
For some people, the physicality is tied into the emotional part of it. Imagine
for them, yeah.
No, but I'm saying,
right? As a parent,
you are a male, right? That's how you feel inside. That's what you are on the outside, right? But say like you felt like a female, and you felt like that's who you were, and every day when you wake up, you still have a penis.
Yeah.
So emotionally,
for me, this is the way I was born.
Right.
This is the way God intended me to be physically.
Right.
So even if I felt like a female, I don't know if I would actually get a sex change.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying.
So
at first I was like, hold up. I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is you can understand in putting it in that context how it could be emotionally hard for someone.
Yeah.
To
right. You could feel how
be
that
confused.
To feel to
be confused every day.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
To be a certain way physically,
like
but feel another
reverse,
way.
If I put it in the reverse, as you're a male right now, but say like you feel exactly how you feel right now as a grown ass man, but you have a vagina, and you wake up every day with a vagina and not a penis.
Right.
You would feel a way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that if you keep that in mind, you know, when it comes to it, because you feel you're a person who is comfortable with yourself, you're an adult, you've lived this life, right? You feel very secure in who you are. But every day, you waking up with my boobs on your body, and you feel like a grown-ass man. And now every morning, you looking down like, but you're still here.
So I'm making light of this, but this is true.
Yeah,
true though.
Yeah. I'm just trying to put it into context for a person who doesn't understand.
Yeah. Right. But I know women, right, that says they wish they had a penis. And you know what they said they would do if they had a penis? They would play with it.
Of course, that's what you would do if you had boobs. The first day that you had them.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what you would do.
Why don't you just, if you wake up as a woman,
standing up.
You feel what I'm saying? So
outside.
So if you wake up every day as a dude. But you're a woman, why don't you just play with it? Like a real woman said that.
But
you know
it's different it's different
like you could just go.
This is not you randomly waking up, right, with this thing.
Exactly.
This is something that you
every
had
day.
For all of this time.
So you'll be in heaven.
This
woman that I talked to.
You over it
now.
No,
they never over it.
You over it. But look, you feel like that now because you're a man who doesn't have these things. But if you grew up your whole life feeling like you were a grown ass man with the wrong set of parts.
Right.
But is it the wrong set of parts though?
I'm just saying that
for them that's how they feel.
For some people they feel that way. Now there are also some people who make the decision to make this change and then later on feel differently. Because there are things, trauma, there are a lot of things that can make you feel differently. I mean, listen, my hormones get to go, and I feel like a different somebody sometimes too. I don't feel like a different sex, but I certainly feel like a different person.
For example, the kind of girl I was looking for when I was 18. It's actually not the same kind of girl that I'm looking for now.
Right, exactly.
You know
what I mean?
We don't even know what's going on with you, John.
You don't. You don't. And I like to keep it that way.
But I like that point because I was thinking that as we get older, it's a different.
And his kid is only 12 years old.
Right, so, but they're doing the right thing.
How the kid feels now might be different from how the kid feels 10 years from now, 20 years from now.
But there's also some people who don't support other people who feel not what other people feel like they're supposed to feel sexually. Like there's somebody who I knew from when I was younger, as a young child, they felt like they were gay. And I personally didn't question it because I didn't see any reason to question it one way or the other. It didn't make a difference to me. I was like, all right, whatever. Went about the rest of my business. As an adult, that child, they're younger than me, but that child is gay. That's what they always like. Some people don't understand that. For some people, they know exactly who they are and what they like, and there's nothing that happened. There's nobody that pushed that person towards that. That's just.
But are we sure that? So
I'm talking about somebody that I know.
Exactly,
personally.
I know. I get what you're saying because when I look at my experience, and sometimes I do these case studies on my own. Like I do case studies in my marriage sometimes. But when I look back at the kids that acted gay when I was young, we grew up in the 80s, 80s, 90s. So it was definitely like talking about taboo. It wasn't spoken about. But at the same time, what wasn't spoken about was, not saying that this is Zaya's situation, but what wasn't spoken about was these grown men messing around with these little kids.
And women.
Exactly, and women.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
So when you talk about trauma, we talking about men you talking about grown men having sex with little boys, grown women, vice versa. Like grown men and grown women having sex with little boys, grown men, grown women having sex with little girls. So that was never talked about. And then when I look at they acted gay back then, right? Everybody didn't say much about it. They're like full blown gay now, but like I knew some kids that acted like that. That when I said this kid's gonna be like he's gay when I was a kid, like he was being molested. So where do we not look at that as a psychological issue? Because if you hear a lot of the other stories by people, they say they've been molested.
When they were young.
As a young kid.
For some cases,
like 90% of cases.
But a lot, that's a big amount to give to that 90% of whoever they asked, right? Of whoever they asked.
Right.
But there are plenty of people who I know, because I have a lot of friends that are part of the LBGT, Q. I'm sorry, I'm missing letters. But
too many of them.
That are part of that community that have not had that kind of trauma. That's just who they are.
That's just who they are. Yeah.
But that again, that's something that some people would never talk about. You know what I'm saying?
But
we can't say who
right. assumption to make.
Not everybody comes forward with that information.
Not everybody comes forward,
right.
But I just firmly believe some people like what they like. You know what I'm saying? Like some people like, and they may feel nervous about talking about it because they feel like that's not what they're supposed to like, because people feel like people are supposed to like one thing and supposed to like another thing. But even within the animal kingdom, there are animals that mate with the opposite sex. It's a part of life. So because if you could go by people, we're the only creatures that have free will, to decide if this is what we want to do or not. So if there's, penguins and deer and bears, that could be gay, why can't people just be naturally? You know what I'm saying? If it could happen in the animal kingdom where they don't choose, how they feel, the bear is not going to come and tell you, I know I was born a boy bear, but I really feel like a girl bear. I know I was born a grizzly bear, but I really feel like a panda bear. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it can happen, and even though I'm making light of it, the way I'm talking about it, I strongly feel that people, I understand there are a lot of people who have had trauma happen to them, and they physically emotionally cannot deal with the sex that they used to deal with anymore. Totally get that. And that, is hard, for some people. I get it. I was a victim of a sexual assault before, so I understand how somebody could feel that way. But all I'm saying is that, for every case that may be this, there's one that isn't. That's just who they are. This child from 3 years old felt different, and maybe didn't feel comfortable talking about it because it's supposed to be taboo. It's not supposed to be this way. I'm supposed to feel like this way because this is how things are, but it's not always like that.
And who am I to tell you how you're supposed to feel?
Sometimes I feel like I'm a unicorn.
Who am I to tell?
You ain't gonna tell me I'm not a damn unicorn. And
who am I
want to be?
Who am I to criticize Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union for the way they raising their kids?
People are very critical,
very
of the
judgmental
way that other people live, and even though it might seem weird. If it might seem weird to you, it might not align with your personal values.
Like I said, I don't understand that world.
Somebody else, if they're not hurting themselves or somebody else, then if you want to love inflatable pool toys, if you feel like, you're a stingray, whatever it is, I'm for it if you're not hurting yourself or anybody
and now
else.
at the same time, if I call Caitlyn Jenner Bruce,
Mm-hmm.
I should not be vilified for that.
Well, it depends on how you're doing it.
Again, I don't really
If
know.
you are being-
I don't know
if
the
you're saying
standard operating procedures
If
with,
you're
with this whole thing. You know
if
what I
you're
mean?
purposely dismissing the fact that she is now Caitlyn Jenner and that's who she feels like she is, not in reference to, the fact that she was once Bruce Jenner, or you're saying, well, I don't care if you want to be Caitlyn Jenner. I knew you as Bruce and that's what I'm calling you. That's disrespectful.
Okay. But if I've known you as Bruce for 60 years,
I can understand
then
that it's hard for you to switch gears.
I'm going to...
I used to call my cousin a nickname when he was younger that I grew up calling him, that when he got to be an adult, he didn't want me to call him anymore because he felt embarrassed, even though my whole life I have been calling him this nickname.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we calls him in the family.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that he feels like he's a grown man and it's not respectful of me to call him this name. And I said, listen, I'm going to do my best to, in front of other people, make sure that I do not call you this name. I'm going to do my absolute best, but you got to give me some time because this is what I'm used to. If I slip up and say it, it's not on purpose.
Right.
I'm not respecting your wishes.
Right. So, tell us what you think. We're going to wrap it up here. Subscribe, share, like, download the Formula Productions on Instagram, Twitter. Let us know what you think. Give us your opinion. We'd love to hear your feedback. And till next time, faith, dream, hustle, repeat.
That's the formula.
Don't ever let them bring you down, cause then you'll be on a level. Listen, I'm never giving up. Stand your ground, don't be too comfortable or too settled. Listen, I'm never giving up. When you hit rock bottom, it's only one way to go. Listen, I'm never giving up. Everybody got problems, how you handle them, no. Yeah, listen.